This is a story about the time I nearly lost my life before it had really started at all. I fell out of the bed of a truck onto my head. So here's how it happened. As a kid, I lived just one house away from my aunt and uncle. At the time, they owned a truck. You see where this is going. Before you ask, this was not an assassination attempt by my aunt and uncle. Not that I can prove yet. My aunt had just arrived in her driveway with said truck. Where she came from, I'm not sure because I was young and I was about to be severely concussed. My sister, her friend, and myself must have been in our front yard because we ended up in my aunt and uncle's front yard. My sister decided it would be a fun idea for her and her friend to get in the bed of the truck and jump up and down, rocking the truck while my aunt was still in the driver's seat. Of course, being the younger sibling, I thought it would be fun to join them. I got up into the bed, but my sister and her friend were jumping pretty hard, so I decided to take a seat, leaning against the back of the truck bed. Somehow, my aunt hits the gas. I have no idea how this happened, and I'm not sure why the truck wasn't in park, but it did happen. I flip out backwards, and my head makes contact with the driveway. Around 2 decades later now, I still remember the feeling of flipping and falling, and I remember the sound made by my head hitting the concrete. I can even call back on the dull but extreme pain that I felt that day if I concentrate hard enough. To me, it's a miracle I didn't break my neck. Then came obvious panic and my memory starts to fade. I remember my sister walking me back as I took the injury like the man I was. I sobbed. Nobody remembers every day from their childhood, but I especially didn't remember a majority of the following days. I do remember getting sucked into the scary MRI machine to make sure I didn't have irreparable damage, which I clearly do. So that's how I almost died. That set of circumstances that led to that injury can't be common, but I feel lucky that I came out years later pretty much unscathed. My aunt felt terrible for many years, which I understand because she nearly deprived you of my videos. She has since been forgiven for her crimes. That is, until I can gather enough evidence to prove in a court of law that she was hired to set up the perfect trap in order to take my